I had always assumed that wholesale food distributors pretty much confine themselves to, well, distributing food. In their trusty white trucks, drivers loaded up meats, produce, milk products, and canned and packaged foods, and then it was off to groceries, restaurants, and institutional food service operations to deliver the goods. Indeed, that is what McFarling Foods basically does. The 58-year-old Indianapolis business handles red meats, poultry, seafood, fruits and veggies, dairy and egg products, and all kinds of frozen, canned, and dried foods. McFarling dispatches its fleet, 38 tractors, 39 trailers, 4 straight trucks, and 4 event trailers, to 4,500 customers throughout Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio. What I didn't realize is how much attention and effort McFarling puts into custom processing and cutting meat, seafood, and poultry. Chances are you've tasted lots of products that were first trimmed and sliced at McFarling Foods. During my morning tour of McFarling's 5 primary meat and fish processing areas, my guide, Meat Production Manager John Emberton, noted that McFarling Foods is a USDA and FDA plant, which means the company has made arrangements for federal meat and health inspectors to be on the premises twice each day, 1 inspector for each 8-hour shift. This arrangement assures inspectors that McFarling Foods is maintaining its own stringent health and safety standards on a daily basis in its bustling production areas under the very watchful eye and continual temperature testing of its quality control manager, Chris Davis. As part of the strict standards, employees in the poultry division don tall rubber boots to deal with frequent floor washings and any residual ice from the chicken packing containers. Those leaving the poultry area to work in, say, the production room where beef and pork are ground into burgers and sausages must undergo a wardrobe change. I discarded my mega galoshes and long white protective cloth coat for a roomy blue cloth coat, new plastic gloves, and those obligatory always fetching hairnets. This is all done to guard against contamination. For certain standard cuts of meat, a fascinating array of automated cutters and processors is employed, the most intriguing of which is the Smart Slice Vision meat cutting machine. The slicer contains cameras that view whole boneless products and determine where to slice it to meet precise size and thickness specifications. All this is done with dazzling speed. The slices emerge on a conveyor where a series of automated bars and levers guide the accepted cuts into the containers below. The pieces that the Smart Slice Vision decides don't meet the size specs usually end up in the meat grinder. For the pork loin cuts, high-speed machines cube and tenderize the meat with sharp mechanical probers that give the immediate impression that the cuts are undergoing vigorous acupuncture. They are more likely destined to become the sainted breaded pork tenderloin at comfort food forums as Edwards Drive-In, Man's Grill, and the Friendly Tavern in Zionsville. The bulk of the custom hand cutting is devoted to restaurant-bound steaks. Meat production supervisor Gary Bauman gave me a crash course in cutting prime beef fillets into filet mignons. The first thing John Emberton asked me to do was to don a chainmail glove that covered the thumb, forefinger, and middle finger of my left hand. These were the digits most in harm's way as I held the loin in place. As a right-handed rookie with a long history of chronic and creative klutziness, I descended with the imposing carving knife. The mission was to carve out 8-ounce fillets, and I could sense the joint wincing of Mr. Bauman and Mr. Emberton when, after being shown precisely where to cut, I proceeded to employ a back-and-forth sawing motion as if the loin were a backyard tree limb. I was advised of the meat's extreme tenderness, which could have been cut with a 4th grader's straight-edge ruler. I needed to merely press the blade down on the loin and let it glide through the meat. This produced a clean, smooth cut with none of the small meat fragments that the sawing method would have produced. Now, in the grinding room, McFarling does a brisk business producing sausage patties for restaurant breakfasts and the like. They also take considerable pride in their Italian sausage. For every August, it gets a very special showcase, lying curled in serpentine splendor on the hot flat iron grills of vendors working the Indiana State Fair, for McFarling is a major food supplier for that event. As it approaches the start of its 7th decade, McFarling ranks as the state's largest independent wholesale food distributor and 54th largest independent nationally. 50% of the business is owned by its employees, the other half owned by the McFarling family. And for just a small sampling of McFarling Foods' countless foodstuffs, ask for the breaded pork tenderloin at Edwards Drive-In or Man's Grill or the Friendly Tavern in Zionsville. And tell them Duffy sent you.